Hello YouTube, I am doing this video because of someone on the omnipotence paradox by Dr. Obswalovich has replied to one of my posts. His name is Bushfingers, so this is for him about the ontological argument. Yes, that old thing. I'm gonna post it on the side in the info section bit where I'm taking the ontological argument from, but this is apparently the late 11th century one by Anselm, which I believe is the basis for all other ontological arguments. They just have more expanded points. This one is a 3.1, and I'll read it out for you now. God is the most perfect being conceivable. Point 1. Point 2. It is more perfect to exist than not to exist. And point 3. Therefore God must exist. Now this has been pointed out to be flawed through many other arguments against it. I'll post the website which I've got this particular version from, also in the comment in the more info section bit, and the major point would be to look at, well, point 3 really doesn't have any point to it apart from saying, well, those two things must be correct, so God must exist. It doesn't really have any merit to it in its own right. God is the most perfect being conceivable. Oh, I could go on about this for ages. Or maybe not. Yeah, perfection. Perfection. Where do we see perfection in the world, in existence? Which, point 2, yeah, should I redo this? No. Point 2 says, it is more perfect to exist than not to exist, which has already been refuted in some of the videos, so I shan't really go into this, except to say that, why is it more perfect to exist than not to exist? The most perfect horse is a unicorn. It doesn't exist. So, yeah. I could say the most perfect beer is one that is refreshing on every drink, because that's what beer does. It's a refreshing alcoholic beverage. So, a perfect beer must be refreshing on every drink. Does it exist? I've not found one. There we go. Disprove that one. Although refutations to this video are welcome, as always. It is more perfect to exist than not to exist. Well, that's been covered. Perfection. Now, I'm a biologist, so I see perfection in nothing. Perfection in life, in existence, doesn't exist, because to be more perfect for one situation, you must be flawed for another. Perfection is an accumulation of flaws. The most perfect creature for its place within society, within the natural order of things, say a bird. It may be absolutely perfect for its situation, but to be perfect there, it must be flawed in all other situations. It has to rely on other things to exist. A plant, it doesn't require much extra. It's one of the basest living things which builds up from everything, which builds up everything else on top of it. All vertebrates and everything feed upon plants or plant-eating vertebrates. So to be a perfect plant, you must rely on nothing but plants. To breed, to reproduce, rely quite a lot on other animals. Bees, for instance, very, very good example. They rely on, quite often, microbes in the soil to produce their nitrates to help them live. Otherwise they would have to rely on lightning strikes, which is another reliance on sun, reliance on other forms of energy elsewhere, chemical energy. They all rely on things. They are not perfect. Nothing is perfect. And to say that something is perfect is must mean, well, let's go out of my way here. Let's have a look at perfection. Wikipedia. Perfection is broadly a state of completeness and flawlessness. And as I've already said, nothing which exists is without flaws. Unless you're going down to like the atomic level, in which case I'm sure there are flaws there at some point, but I'm no physicist. The term perfection is actually used to designate a range of diverse, often kindred concepts. These concepts have been historically addressed in a number of discrete disciplines: mathematics, physics, chemistry, ethics, aesthetics, ontology and theology. Do we have a... no, we don't have a thing further down. Paradoxes. Yeah. Perfection is a state of completeness, flawlessness, which never really exists in nature. Doesn't exist. The only completeness which I could not say whether or not it is flawed is the universe as a whole. The actual universe, complete with us inside it. Us as being part of the universe. We are not a separation from it. That is the only way out of this, is to say that the universe is God, in which case we are also God. Which, and considering that that means that God is not outside of time, saying that the universe is God is basically adding another level of difficulties to explaining the universe. Saying that the universe is God is just giving a name to the universe, instead of just saying it's the universe. It exists. It existed. And the creation or formation or whatever you want to call it of the universe, explaining that would then also explain this God, which is the whole universe. I see no other way around it.